What is up, MMA True Believers? I am Jason BURGOS for Sherdog.com, and I am joined by a man that, to me, epitomizes wily veteran in so many ways. He's the Ultimate Fighter Season 24 winner, former flyweight title contender, currently sitting at number 11 in the UFC flyweight division. On May 30, he will welcome UFC newcomer Brandon Royval to the octagon, and that man is the one known as Awkward. He is Tim Elliott. Tim, what is up? And thanks for the time tonight.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Before we get into the upcoming fight with Royval, I wanted to quickly go back to the fight with Askar Askarov. He's a guy a lot of people are pointing to as a serious rising talent in the division. Looking back on the fight, what do you think of his talent? Was he better than advertised, or did you feel you were just a few missed opportunities away from winning that fight?
He's good, man. Real solid guy. Felt strong. After fighting him, I feel like I would have a different game plan going in this time. But I didn't have a good look in that fight. He cracked me in the first round, and that was it for me. When the coaches came in at the end of the fight, I thought that the fight was over. I thought that, the fight was over, but I thought that I'd been knocked out in the first round. So my coaches came in, and they're like, put your hands up, go to the judges. I was like, what? So, like, I have no recollection of ever going to the stool. I have no recollection of ever talking to any of my coaches. I was so out of it that, like, when the fight was over, I was mad because I thought that I didn't even get a chance to get tired. Like, I didn't get a chance to go and perform. So I didn't really – I felt like I kind of got gypped in that fight a little bit too, same with the Figueiredo fight. But, no, he's good. He's good. That's actually a fight that I would like to run back. I would like to get a rematch with that.
Now you get a similar matchup with another rising talent in the current LFA flyweight champion, Brandon Royval. You have been in this game a long time. One tough, like I mentioned, title shot, 11th ranked, all those things. Was there any surprise with this matchup? And did you feel you deserved another ranked opponent, or because the division doesn't have the depth of others and everything going on with the pandemic, you didn't see much of a problem with it?
The fight that I wanted, they offered me a fight an hour before that with Jordan Espinoza, and I said yes right away. We were supposed to fight once before, but that fight fell through. I guess he said no. So I was a little bit upset because usually they don't call me unless it's a sure thing. They know that I'm going to take the fight. They know I'm not in a position to say no. I'm on a 2-fight losing streak. So Jordan Espinoza was the fight that I thought I was going to get. Then when he turned it down, I was a little bit upset. For sure would have rather had that fight than them signing a new guy. But at the same time, I'm glad to see them sign some new guys to the division. And Brandon is a good signee. He's fun to watch. He's exciting. So whether or not it's what I wanted doesn't really matter. The fact is that's the fight that I got, and he's a good addition to the UFC.
I spoke to him yesterday. He talked about having a lot of respect for you, being a fan of your style for a long time. As a guy in year 11 as a professional, you're a fighter that other fighters on the come up look at and go, man, I watched him when I started doing martial arts. Oh, he inspired me to get into the sport. Does that stuff get weird at only 33 years old? You're a young man, or do you kind of dig that stuff?
Oh man, I like it. I'm. There's just no way around it. Like this is a young man's game.
Yeah.
Even being 33, like I'm a dinosaur. Like I'm Brandon Moreno and those guys, 19 years old, and like even though Brandon Moreno didn't win, he was the last seed on my season of The Ultimate Fighter. I told my dad after the show, I said, "This kid's gonna be the UFC champion." Like they're just. The only way I was getting the better of those guys was just my man strength came before theirs. If I would have had those guys, like Brandon Moreno at 33 is going to be a freak, and Brandon Royval at 33 is going to be a freak too. He's not there yet. You know what I mean? Like it's still not his time. He's still got some dues to pay, and but I'm glad it's good for him, and it's good for the division that they're signing some guys because it's a little bit surprising. I heard that they weren't going to sign any guys during this. But luckily they are, and as long as they're flyweights, man, I'm happy.
He admitted to me yesterday that your style is something that he's definitely concerned about, that no one at Factory X can mimic and prepare him for what you do. However, he also said he's excited for it, looks at you as like a puzzle to solve. You know, this is his debut in the UFC. Do you think he really understands the riddle that is your style? Because he feels confident that he kind of understands what he's getting into from watching you over the years. Do you think he really, really understands it?
No, and I don't think that you can understand it. And if he does beat me, it's not going to be because he figured me out. If he beats me, it's going to be because I ran my head into, my fighting style is so weird that, like, it doesn't always play out the way I want it, but I've also won a bunch of bonus money. I've had 5 or 6 bonus checks, and once I started winning that bonus money, it became less about winning and losing and more about, like, looking good and having fun, because if I'm looking good and having fun, they're giving me bonus checks. So the only way I'm going to really make money in this sport is by being the champ or by being exciting and getting bonus money. And the champ route is like I've never been there, but I feel like that's not really my style. I'm not the straight and narrow, like, clear cut path guy. What I am is I'm a peaks and valleys, ups and downs, wild and crazy, and get that money kind of guy. And if I play my cards right in these next few fights, though, there's no reason why I can't be right back in title contention. I get a win this weekend, next weekend, and then I get that Jordan Espinoza fight right after that, and then maybe a rematch with Askar Askarov, and then I'm right back into title contention.
When preparing for Royval, what makes him a challenge to you? You know, he's fought LFA in the LFA a lot, so there's a lot of video on him. He's fought some good competition there. What are his strengths that you legitimately have to take seriously in this fight?
Well, same thing you asked him. Like, he said that I'm a puzzle that he has to figure out and that they can't bring any guys in there to mimic me. Same goes for him. There's no guys in my gym that fight like Brandon Royval. He marches forward with weird tie knees and tie elbows and spins. Like, nobody does that. Like, for me, that makes for excitement. Like, if he can do his game and I can do my game and we can get in there and really mix it up, then I don't see no reason why this can't be fight of the night and maybe even a couple bonus fight for us. And if I get that, if I go out there and really put on a show and I get that money, then the winning and losing is not so important to me.
A loss here would be 3 straight, something that would worry any fighter. But for someone like you that is in his second stint with the promotion, been in tough twice, been in the game a long time, is there that back against the wall feeling going into this, or are you at like kind of peace? Whatever happens, and if you are in the UFC after this because it doesn't go right, you know what? You know your value. You're not feeling an added pressure. You've been around the game so long. This kind of situation isn't rattling you more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm just good with it either way. Like I said, they've already fired me once before, so there's nothing they can do to me that hasn't already been done. But yeah, I feel like if I go out and perform well, then I don't think they will fire me, win or lose. But it's one of those things with fighting is our back is always against the line. We never know. We're private contractors. They've cut guys after wins. Gerald Harris won a bonus and won a fight, and they cut him. Like, there's so much more aspects to the UFC than just fighting. And for me, like, the fighting is a small part of it, but I spend my days at the Performance Institute. I'm here in Vegas. I know the people that work the shows. I know the commissioners. I know the referees. I know the janitors that clean the venues. Like, I have good relationships with all these people, Forrest Griffin, Dana White. Like, I'm never a problem for any of them. So I have good relationships with all these people outside of fighting. So, like, if they fire me, I know it's time that I had it coming, because it's going to be all about the fighting at that point, because I've made relationships with all these people here, and I'm good with it. I know the game, and if you're not winning, then it's time to go somewhere else where somebody else can win. I'm just blessed to be able to be in this as long as I have been, and to be able to work with the people that I've been able to work with.
What has training been like for you in the last few weeks? Where you are restrictions not too bad? Are you feeling good about your training, your weight cut as you get closer to the fight? Or have, things not been optimal and you're going to try to make the best of it?
things haven't been optimal, but the good news about that is it's been that way for everybody. Everybody's been on lockdown. Everybody's had to do, some kind of changes. The difference is like who sat at home was being a fat ass and who was sharpening their tools and trying to get better. And it looks to me like, judging by the fights that have been happening, that people have been going home and training, because all these fights have been amazing. The finishes have been amazing. The decisions have been amazing. So it looks like everybody's hungry right now. So I feel like it's going to be beneficial, and all eyes are on our sport right now. We're the only professional sport running right now. But no, here in Vegas, like we've had to do small groups. We've had other businesses coming and trying to get other people in trouble for training. But at the same time, it's like you can find a way. You can always find a way to do what you really want to do.
Yeah. As a father and a husband, was there ever any hesitation in having to fight and train during a pandemic? Or, you know what, you got mouths to feed, you have to provide, so the choice was easy?
I mean, that's exactly it right there. Is like, I don't really have a choice. And most real fighters are never going to turn down a fight anyway. They always want to fight. Like, that's what they're here for. Of course, you have guys that just want to be in the UFC so they can say they're in the UFC. They want to be Instagram famous, but like for the most part, guys want to fight and guys need to fight. This is how we make a living. So anytime there's an opportunity that comes, for the most part, guys are jumping on it.